Welcome back to the shop. We have a PW50 here, and I haven't even touched this bike yet, so it's dirty. It's been sitting around for quite a while in someone's shed. I think they parked it because it had a flat tire. Probably doesn't run anymore. It's been sitting around for a while, so in this video I'm going to get it up and running again no matter what it takes. Change out that inner tube and probably do a modification to it. There's a modification to these to make them a little bit quicker. It removes the rev limiter, frees up the exhaust flow, a few things like that. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But first things first, I got to look this thing over and let's see what we have going on. And give it the gas lift test. Oh, this hose is all twisted up. I don't know if there's any gas in it. And whatever's in there, it doesn't smell overly bad, but it doesn't smell fresh either. So I think I'm going to try to attempt to drain the tank in case there is a couple drops in there still left over. But let me lay it onto the right side real quick. I mean the left side. That way all the fuel, that's whatever's in there, will go to the left side where the petcock is at. Because I'm going to pop that petcock off, the fuel line off of it, and let's see if we can get some fuel out of it. Okay, I'm actually going to remove the fuel line from the front of the petcock. So it's just going to drop its fuel at that point, whatever's in here. Because to remove it from the back side, I'd have to remove the seat and all that. I first want to just put some fresh gas in it and see if it fires up. If I have to dig into the carburetor, I will. But I'm hoping maybe I don't have to. Let's see. Yeah, a couple drops. Alright. And it definitely smells a little old. Okay, let me see if it has some 2-cycle oil in here. Yeah, there's 2-cycle oil in there. Okay, but I'm not going to trust it. When these things sit for a while, or even for good shape, they have it's a oil injection, right? And it has a little, tiny little pump that injects some 2-cycle oil into the carburetor as the bike's running. But if that goes bad, well, you know, then the motor's going to go bad. So whenever they've been sitting for a while like this, what I like to do is the first little bit of gas I put in it is going to be pre-mixed gas. It's going to have a little bit of 2-cycle oil in it. That way when I start it up, if for some reason that pump is not working or whatever, we're going to save the motor. It will still receive some 2-cycle oil and we won't blow the motor up. And then once we have it running, we can check the pump just by pulling the little line off the carburetor and see it while the bike's running and see if it's pushing the oil out. So let me put a little bit of pre-mixed fuel in it. There we go. Pop the gas cap on and we're going to try to start her up. Okay, I got the fuel turned on. There's a choke up here. Turn that on and then you have to put this on start. Okay, let's try to give it some kicks. Here we go. Where is the kicker? There it is. They put it on the left side. Well, it's safe to say it is not starting up. So first thing I'm going to do is remove that seat with the rear fender and side plates on it. Give me access to the whole carburetor and everything like that. Alright, 2 10mm down here. Once I get this thing up and running good, I'll give her a bath so when the owner comes and picks it up, it'll look fresh again. It won't look like it's been sitting in a shed forever. Okay, it's looking pretty rough in here, I'm not going to kid you. But let me check the fuel petcock, see if we're getting fuel. I don't see any fuel coming out of this, look. Oh boy. I do see it dripping from right here. It's going to need a new fuel petcock. Alright, let me pop this off. Let me make sure we put enough fuel in the tank and that it's actually getting to the petcock. Oh yeah. There's fuel flowing. Alright, we're going to need a new fuel petcock. But before I order a new petcock, let me see if I can get this one at least flowing. Plug that off for now. If I can get it flowing, then we can at least continue on with our diagnosing and get this thing up and running. So there's a little filter up in here. Let me get something to grab that with. Okay, first I'll try these little needle nose right here. Oh, try these. It's in there. I see it. Huh. There we go. Little filter here. Oh yeah, it's definitely gooey on the inside there. Let me go clean it up. I'll be right back. Okay, got it all cleaned out. I just blew air in on this side and a whole bunch of junk came out that side. So that worked. Now I'm going to blow this open and out. I'm going to watch over here on this side and see if it shoots anything out. Let me move this hose out of the way so maybe y'all can get a better view. There we go. I saw something shoot out. We might have just had a clogged filter. Let's see. Let's pop this filter back in. Shut the fuel off for now. Alright, let's turn the gas on and see. There we go. We had a feel. Alright. I'm still going to get a new petcock for it because when it's on... Oh, let me clog it. When it's on... Well, no, it's not leaking anymore. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. I might also be able to just rebuild it right here. I'm noticing that it has a little flathead screw here. I don't know, but let's just keep moving forward for now. I'm gonna hook the fuel line back up. Turn the fuel on. Alright. Now the carburetor here has a flathead where I can drain the float bowl. I'm going to open that up while the gas is still on. Watch it right here. If nothing comes out, okay, there we go. I do that just for any of the old gas that might be sitting in the bottom of the float bowl. I'm just kind of trying to flush that out and see if it starts up. I'm suspecting I'm going to have to pull this carburetor off and clean it up to get this working right, but I don't want to do anything unnecessarily, so let's try to start it up again. Okay, wish me luck. Fuel is on, it's on start. This choke is on. Well, guess we don't have to get in the carburetor after all. You know, I work on so many different bikes, and sometimes you just they all kind of mesh into one after a while. You forget what you've done to one bike or the other, and this is one of them bikes. This bike has been in my hands before. I've worked on this bike before. Now I remember working on it, but I don't remember doing this modification, the modifications to it. Apparently, I've already done it to this bike. The reason I know is because in stock form, when these are on start and you start them up, they'll start and they'll idle, but when you give them gas, they won't come off idle. Just go dang 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 dong 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 dang 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 dong 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 until you put it on run, and then you give it gas and it takes off. And the reason they do that in stock form is because it's always in gear. This is not a bike that it has a neutral and a first gear or second gear. It's always in gear. It's an automatic clutch, but it's always in gear. And they want to make it where when the kids kickstart it, if they're giving it throttle while they kickstart and all of a sudden it fires up, the bike doesn't just shoot off on them. Beavis, come on, man. You're making so much noise out here. Hey, don't attack me now. But one of the mods for this bike that removes the speed limiter or rev limiter. It allows it to rev up higher, which gives you more top speed. There's only one speed to this bike. When that modification is done to this bike, start and run are now both the same thing. It will start, and it will start and run, and it will run the same. Either one doesn't make a difference. Off still works, so you shut it off and it'll shut off. But these two now, start and run, are pretty much the same, and that's the case with this one right here. So now I remember, I've already done the mod to this bike, but let me show you how to do that mod. In these clusters of wires right here, let me loosen this up and get up in here, try to at least. Okay, we have this black terminal right here, has a red and a black wire and a white and a red wire, and in stock form it's connected to this right here like that. So I just connected it back up to stock. Disconnect this again. When this is disconnected, it removes the speed limiter that's on it. There we go. Okay, it's disconnected. Let's start it back up. Now this time you can start it up and run, or start it. I'm going to start it up and run just to show you. So for whatever reason, I don't know if Yamaha did this on purpose or what, but by disconnecting that and leave it disconnected, now make sure you have a skilled rider if you're going to do this. It's going to have more top speed, and it will start up and even the start mode and be able to take off in the start mode. So make sure they're familiar with the bike. They're not going to start it up and the bike just goes shooting off on them or anything stupid. Make sure you have an experienced rider if you disconnect this. That's my disclaimer. But if you disconnect this, you will have more top speed. Now to complete that modification, you have to remove the whole exhaust pipe here, and right up on the header where it goes into the cylinder, there'll be a gasket, but there's going to be a little washer, a little round washer. Remove that washer. It makes the hole smaller for the exhaust, which also limits the power. And one more thing is right here, there is a right here, this one's already been removed, but there's usually a screw that comes out here with the lock nut on it, and that limits how much throttle you can give it. You just remove it like this one. Just remove it completely so they can go full throttle. Remove the washer and the exhaust pipe and disconnect that connector I just showed you over there, and you will have unleashed the PW50. You'll see in the exhaust right here, where is it? Right there, part number 2. If I zoom in on it, you'll see that it has a smaller hole in the middle. They call that the gasket, and it does have a gasket part to it, but that's separate from the little washer in the middle. Just pop that washer out of there, and that'll open up the hole to the exhaust pipe. Some people also like to modify the air box on this, and I will admit it definitely will create significant more top end pull if you modify the air box, but you have to be real careful. You can see there's tape right here on the back side, because when this bike was first delivered to me, someone already had drilled some holes in the back side here. The problem with that is it gets all the dirt and stuff right from the rear tire. It doesn't have much of a mud flap here to protect the air box if you open up holes right here, and the air filter will get clogged, dirty fast. So the first time this bike was dropped off to me, I covered that up with some Gorilla tape. I left the holes that were already drilled up top. They work okay. I mean, you're still going to get some dirt that falls in there. The best place to have a hole is maybe on the bottom. If anything gets in there, it can find its way out. I can feel right here there is one hole in the bottom and 2 holes on the top. When it's a perfectly sealed air box, the only place it gets its air from is this small little hole right here. And it's built pretty well to keep dirt and water from getting in there. You know, they expect these bikes to be very low maintenance. They know that a lot of times parents are buying these for their kids, and the parents might not have any dirt bike experience at all, so they're trying to set these bikes up where you can just run them and run them and run them with very little maintenance. And you know, as you know, on our motocross race bikes, our air filters get dirty real quick. I mean, we have big old holes that just bring in dirt, and but we know to clean our air filter after every full day's riding. For the most part, if we're riding in sand and dusty conditions or whatever. But in these type of bikes, they assume that most people aren't going to do that, so they kind of send them out with a very sealed air box. So if you make modifications to this air box, understand you're going to have to clean your air filter quite a bit more often, And be cautious of where you drill holes into the air box. Try to drill them in places where, especially, don't drill it back here. Whatever you do, and try to figure out the top's okay. I think the bottom's okay. I think the top's okay. But just be cautious where you drill holes in it, because your air filter will get dirty significantly quicker. All right, speaking of air filter, let me go ahead and remove this one and check it. I have a suspicion there's no air filter in there anymore. I don't know where it went, but I'm not seeing it in there when I look in the little holes. Just remove the whole box like this. Alright, how do we open this thing up again? I forget. There it is. There's a Phillips screw in there. Let's go to the bench. Alright, let's see what we have in here. Maybe there is a filter in there, huh? Well, yeah, well, I don't know. Kind of looks like there is. Oh no, that filter is long gone. I'm going to have to order a filter for this. We have a cockroach in there too. Great. Making an air filter for it. If you're real careful, I've done it a million times for these. You can use an old air filter, and you can. All it is a flat panel. You just have to cut it out the size. So that's all I'm doing here. Okay, got an air filter cut out for this. I washed it. It's out in the sunlight right now, drying. While that's drying, we have a rear inner tube to do. But real quick, can't leave any stones unturned. Let me go ahead and check this oil. The oil injector. It has this little protection metal thing over the hose for the oil injection. Let me move this out of the way. There we go. And then all it is just a little hose that you pull off the carburetor. Come on now. Let me try twisting it. It's really stuck on it. Okay, there we go. Come on. There it is. Okay, it's off of there. I can see some oil in there a little bit. That's good. Remember, I already put 2-cycle pre-mix fuel in here, so we can run it with this hose off, no problem. It's going to be running on the oil that's in the tank. It'll be okay. Let me start it up. No air filter or anything. Just start it up. That's going to look for oil coming out here. You got to. There it comes. Yeah. We are good. It's working. It doesn't shoot a ton of oil out. You pretty much have to rev it out and give it a second, and it'll start dropping a little drop on your finger. About every 5 to 10 seconds, it'll drop another little drop. That's about all the oil that comes out of it. You know, it's a little motor, and that's just how they have them set up. But as long as it's pumping like that, you're good. So we know the oil injection system's working, so that's good. So in a little bit, I'll just fill it up some 93 pump gas, and it'll be good to go. We don't have to put any oil in the gas anymore, because we know the oil injection system's working just fine. All right, got to get to that back wheel. Well, to get the rear wheel off, I have to remove the exhaust system. So I guess I'll be able to show you where that washer would be. Let me go ahead and do that. Rear wheel removed. I'm going to grab the exhaust here, and I will show you. Okay, there's a little seal that I showed you, a little gasket that I showed you in the schematic a minute ago, and then there would be a washer that sits in the middle of that. You pop that washer out, but you leave that gasket in, and that opens up the exhaust. That's one of the mods that complete the whole modification of the bike. So a super quick recap: remove that washer and exhaust pipe, remove that throttle stop screw in the front there, and disconnect this wire, this right here, black, red and black, white and red. Just disconnect that, leave it right in here disconnected, and that will. Oh, and also maybe some airbox mods. It really does help, but don't put it on the where it's facing the rear tire. Only put it on the top and on the bottom only. All right, let me get that inner tube changed out. Okay, time to put the rear wheel back on. Okay, before I put the air filter back on, let me go ahead and drain the oil out of the transmission here, gearbox, whatever you want to call this. Get some fresh oil. The whole goal here is when I send this thing out, it's going to be good to go. I believe they're looking to sell it, but I'm not sure. But I'm sending it out 100% ready to go. The oil doesn't look that dirty. Yeah, it's not dirty at all. Lean it over a little bit. Get it all out. The side of the motor here says 300 cm, so that's basically 300 cc's, 300 milliliters, whatever you want to call it. Tighten this up. There we go. Yep, 300. So let me go get some oil. Definitely pretty grimy around this thing. Here we go. Much better. That way none of that junk falls in while I'm removing this. Alright. I had to wipe that funnel up. Some of that dust went onto the funnel. Alright, filling up with 300 cc's, mLs, whatever. It's getting 300. There we go. Screw this back on. Okay, my homemade air filter is clean, freshly oiled. If you try cutting one out yourself, it's best to cut it out to where it just kind of fits right in there. You want it to completely seal up and of course tight around that area. Wrong way. There we go. Let me go ahead and grab some Gorilla Tape. Come on now. Some scissors. I have to block off these holes. Remember I mentioned a previous owner or mechanic cut too many holes out on this air box and cut them in the wrong place. And mainly they cut it where the back tire is going to kick it up on there. And when the bike was first delivered to me, I addressed that by just covering it up with some Gorilla Tape. Here we go. You know I'm going to have to take it for a test ride in a couple minutes. But anyway, yeah, so I covered the holes back here. I left the one on the bottom and the two on the top open. That's okay if you're going to drill holes, and it's good. I mean, if you're looking for more power, your filter will get dirty quicker. But if you're looking for more power, do the 3 mods that I showed you on the bike a minute ago, and then drill some holes in the bottom and the top of the airbox. Doesn't take much. We only have 2 right here and 1 on the bottom, and your bike will significantly rev up higher. The airbox mod is a pretty good mod for this. It's just, it can wreak havoc if you drill them on the backside, which a lot of people do. I do suggest always having at least one on the bottom or a small one, so anything big that might get in here, grains of sand, water, or anything, has an opportunity to escape out the bottom. Alright, let's go ahead and put it on the bike. Put it on the bike. I'm going to give her a quick bath, clean her up a little bit, and then take her for a test ride. See what she does. I'll take you guys with me too. It'll be fun. There we go. Got it. Alright, that's good to go. And for whatever, this petcock has decided to stop leaking off the bottom right here. So maybe it just sat for too long. Once it got some gas in it, the seals in here decided to clean themselves out and seal or whatever. Who knows? But it's good for now, so we're going to run it. Alright, before I put the seat on, let me give it a quick test fire. Just make sure everything's good. So let me move the camera back here. Yes, sir. Okay, she's all cleaned up and ready for a test ride. Look at her. Alright, take her for a ride. Yeah. She runs good. Well, it's pretty much a wrap for the PW50. She's up and running beautifully. Awesome. She's pretty fast too. I don't know if you noticed that in the video. She scoots pretty good, so if you do these modifications to it, just make sure your kid's ready for it, because it will take a bike that would normally do, I'm going to guess, about 18 miles per hour, and it's going to allow it to do probably a good 25, 28 miles per hour, so be cautious about that. This weekend, I don't know where I'm going to ride yet, and I don't even know what I'm going to ride yet, so don't really have any updates for that. I might be at Days City on Sunday, I'm not for sure yet, and I'm not even sure what bike I'm going to take out yet, but wherever you guys are at, please get out there and get a good weekend of riding, and don't just sit home and do anything. Get your bike ready, take it out and ride. Appreciate you guys watching these videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.